Hello, I'm Sarah Lister from Sheffield Digital, and today I'm talking to Urška Tičar, who works as a research, UX and service designer on diverse projects at Paper. Can you please share what types of projects you work on as part of your job?
Yes, hello everyone. It's nice to be here. What we work across different sectors. So we work for charities, we worked for government organization, and work for third parties. So it's a really mix because each of those individual groups have different goals, different values, and like different ways of how they apply their services or how they provide their services to the customers. And going into the project, we always need to think about those and how we have individual clients. What are their purposes? What are their values? How are they approaching this? And why are they trying to make a difference? Or why they're trying to provide a new service to their customers? And that's kind of what lead us into how we approach the project, what we suggest for the clients. And I love that it's never the same. And you can build up on your knowledge, and you can build through the experiences of like working on in the different sectors. But it's like it's just really exciting to work on like a new client and get to know them. It's almost like dating, I would say. Yeah, it's like, when you get that excitement of getting to know new people and learn what they're passionate about, what why are they doing things like that. It's kind of a similar with the new clients. So it's like you date them for a while, you get to know them, and then you hopefully most of the time help them to create better services and products that they can provide for their clients. And I really like that. I get bored quite easily, so it's really nice to have like a different environments, different people, and you learn about not just about them, you learn about yourself as well going through the project. And it's perfect environment for to work for me.
And which of your skills are required most regularly for these types of projects and each part of the process?
Hmm. I would say adaptability. It's a really common one, and you would not think of it, but is, yeah, like thinking outside the box, trusting the process. And it's a lot of soft skills. I think that my soft skills are overcoming the technical skills that I have, because you kind of always say that each of the designers, as a designer, you have your toolbox, and you have all these amazing tools and methods, methodology that you can use. But then is learning about the project and how you can shape those tools, shape these methods to fit your client's needs. And that is the key element. I think that as a designer, we adapt the tools, we adapt the processes to fit the client's need, to fit to what we can do to this project. And it's that skill, getting to know how you can adapt, what tool do you use, and how you're going to use it on a project, that it's exciting. But I think that it's the most crucial one for our work, because like there's so much many different designers out there, and I think that we kind of sort of use similar tools, but the way we use them is what makes us different, or what makes us like UX designer against interior designer. Because I was interior designer before I went into digital. So it is that adaptability that is important skill, and you adapt that and you use that in each stage of the project. Like the first one, we call it inception, when we date the I'm gonna use dating. So basically, when you get to know the client, not dating, you get to know the client, and you get to know about the problem, because we when we work with a client, they provide us with a brief. But in most occasions, we need to go back to the client and go, okay, so let's talk about the brief. Let's talk about a bit more about what were you thinking, what do you want to do in that point. And that really helps us understand if the brief is what the clients needs, or it is maybe something more that we need to uncover. And you can do that through learning, where you pick up the subtle things of I don't know, or this, or how you defining things, how they're naming things. All of these small elements that you would never think that are important are really important to create a good base of our work. And that adaptability kind of goes along with each stage. When you do the user research, when you get to learn what the not the client's needs, but the user needs are, and then how you merge those clients' needs with user needs and the policies and the guidances and the values and money time that company has. And then you go, cool, this is what you can do with the time, the money, the value, the user needs. And it's all like always adapting and merging different elements together that you can then help and provide something for client. It's like a lot of things. I think there's so much work before you actually start building. And I think that with digital, there's always this expectation that you will start building straight away, and that it's like really fast to create. Well, it can be really fast, but I think that it's for the product or services to be good, there's a lot of prep work, a lot of understanding, a lot of talking to kind of get to that thing that it's really well done and really important and useful, not just for the client, but also for the users. And I like it. But yeah, adaptability is the skill that I think that I use the most, looking into what I have in my toolbox, what projects am I on, and how can I adapt my tools to the project's needs.
And how do you get to know about your clients? Do you set up an online call at the moment, or do you do it by email? Do you have like a form that they complete? What processes do you take them through to get to know, to get to the core of what they are looking for?
We have a week. So we usually have a week when we call it Inception Week, when we meet the client, we meet the team that we're going to work, because it's never just us, it's always a mix. We always have that the client has certain people that are available for us, so they're part of our team. And what we do is we do team canvas, which is a tool when we would normally sit around the table and look into what our purposes, what our values, what our strengths, what are our weaknesses, what we can do as individuals, what we can provide for the team. We do also Stinky Fish. It's a tool when you basically ask people to raise out their concerns that they have in their mind at the moment, because you know what it is, if you have something that's niggling at the back end, but then you leave it and you shove it behind, it's gonna get bigger and bigger, as in fishes that are left behind, they get stinky. So instead of leaving them behind, we raise them up. And it's really a bounding element, because there's so much time when you just realize how people have the same concerns or fears, or they may think that, well, I'm just a bit afraid because I have not gone through this process yet, and I don't know how it's going to work. And that really helps us to understand how we can support each other. And it really, really helps to kind of create that initial bound. And when it comes to the brief specifically, what we do is we look into it. We sit down. Well, I'm going to talk as in this is just, we won't be in pandemic, because I would love that. Just sit down with a client and go, so tell me more. What do you think about that? And it's almost like an interview when you go like, why, but why, but why? So to kind of understand completely, why are they doing this? How they're doing this? What is the meaning behind this? What they have already discovered that makes them think that they need to do this? Because there must be some drive to get to that stage when you're hiring us. So what have you done before that? Have you done any research? Or if you haven't done any research, but you see there's an opportunity here, cool. So who have you spoken to? Who are your users? What is currently provided in that stage? It's all these different questions. So there's lots of questioning. You play detectives, you question the client. not if there's no bad or good cop, it's not that bad. But yeah, it's just conversations, but also a lot of team bonding and understanding. We do check-ins and check-outs like if I'm on a project, that's kind of in my contract. We are doing check-ins and check-outs at the beginning of the day. I will ask my team, or I will ask my team members, how are you today? Is there anything that we can do? And it's just so nice to gauge where they are, because we all have bad days and good days, and that is absolutely okay. And I rather have that in open, because it's like an open workspace of like, if you're having a bad day, let me know, so I can leave you alone, or I can try to support you if I can. And it's just really nice when you have those moments when someone says, I have a bad day today, and when you're checking out again with them, they're like, you know what, was actually not that bad. I felt the team left me alone. I had some time to be able to do what I wanted to do. And it just really helped. And it's like, yes, small wins. And those things really help you to build a team and to get to know the team, and as well as get to know the client. Because if you work with people who are your client, or like employees from your client, you kind of get to know their culture, you get to know how they work, you get to know their values, and that is the core, a part of the services or product that you're building for the client. It's all intertwined, but it's a lot of soft skills that are really important and kind of a build majority of our work
And
upfront.
are you working with your team at Paper in this way, or is it just you leading the way with this process?
I think it's an embedded core of who we are as Paper. Whatever we try on clients, we try on ourselves.
Good
It's
approach.
not. Yeah, exactly. Like we check in with ourselves. We have team canvases. We have user guides. So when we start a project, we share that as well. When we talk about, like, you can share with other team members of how do you work, what are your preferences, how do you might react to certain things, how do you react when you're angry, how you do deal with conflict and things like that. That really help us to know each other, and we do all of this as well in Paper. So it's never just like, oh, let's try this on clients, but not have that embedded in our own processes, in our own culture. It kind of goes from learning from who we are, who Paper is, what is our culture, what are our purposes, and then building that in our work environment and how we present it to the client. Because when we work, is never just Paper team. It's always diverse, and it's always also freelancers or other companies that we partner with. So it's every time it's a different team that has a bit of team from the client, team from Paper, freelancers, other companies that we get involved with, and we try to always approach it with sharing what we want to do, like sharing our team culture, sharing how we do it at Paper. We actually have written a guideline called How We Treat People that we always share to kind of say what we do and what we don't do. But it always comes from, like, we never do anything that we would not believe in, that we not trust in, and that we would not do it as Paper beforehand, before we go out and do it on clients most of the time.
It sounds like a really nice opportunity to learn about yourself as well through those processes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what I like, because every time you work with a new client, you don't just learn about them, you learn about yourself, because like we will be learning about ourselves through our entire life. And it's just really nice that I feel grateful that I can also do that through my work, and I'm encouraged to do so through my company as well. So it's a really good space to be.
Mm-hmm. And where might other people who are listening to this, where might they be able to gain experience in these sorts of skills that you've described, such as adaptability?
It's a interesting one. So I think that for me, the leading element of where I am today is being creative. I always enjoyed being creative, and that was always kind of a push down. I was like, oh, you can use that as a hobby. Like you can be artistic, you can be creative as a hobby. And but I pushed through that, and always like try to be and stay creative. Try to think outside the box. If you can't do this at the moment, how can you do it differently? What is the smaller part that you can do? What can you change to still do it? Is that sort of thinking of like not just giving up, but also thinking about how you can adapt, how you can change. And that can come from anything, because I really absolutely hate how this is a belief that people can either be creative or they're not creative. I find that creativity lives in everything that you do differently, everything that you find a different way to do it, or like find a solution for it. That for me is creativity. And a lot of design work for me comes from that. So I think that for people who are trying to go there, it's like, stay being creative, like stay thinking differently. If you can't do something, how can you do it differently? And I think that solution solving is the thing that people need working as a designer. And I think that they also, like, it's a core element of everything, any profession. You need to like know what you can do, but then how you can do it differently, or how you can, if you have a tricky wicked problem, how can you solve that? And I think that it's what is good about design is never like just one way to get into it. Even like Talking Design is basically digital services at the moment, but we also do not just do digital services. We use digital as a platform, as a tool for the services and tools and product that we are working on. Yeah, they're predominantly digital, but that doesn't inform our whole processes or our work. It's just that perception that a digital website is a tool. It's not a service. Service is much more than just a website. So it's stay creative, and like look out for any events or look out about like any opportunities, like good opportunities to chat, to test if you like what we are doing as designers is service design jams. They're like a weekend long intervention, not intervention, but it's like weekend long events when you can try some of the tools and try what we are doing on a really nice project. And it's really nice to see if you that's something that ticks you. And then of course, like I think that for myself, because I went into in university to become an interior designer. So kind of I got an easy way in because I kind of already studied to be the designer, just not a service or the UX designer. And then basically working as an interior design, it was just still a bit, maybe there was not enough problem solving, or like it wasn't like, maybe it was more like a space-based solutions, where I want to do more like people-focused solutions. And that kind of made me think that maybe interior design is not for me. And I went back to university myself, but is never one way. And I think that we are trying as a community to open that up and understanding, but I try new things, get in touch with people, and they might tell you something. But yeah, I think that as a community, we're trying to be open and trying to help people who are curious about what we do and want to get involved. I know that government is also really encouraging people to become designers. So they have a lot of initials, as in, what is this? I forgot the word. Internships. Yeah, internships that people can go into and become designers or user researchers. So yeah, it's not one way in, and that makes it a bit harder to explain how to get in. There's multiple ways in, but talking to people, maybe attend events around design, or like service design jams to just try it out. Those are good things to see if that is something that you enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of that sort of steps I would suggest to people. I don't think there were that good suggestions, but it's
No, I
something.
think they're perfect. Honestly, I do. I think, people have lots of options. And I think I like the approach of asking people, people who maybe work in that world like yourself, and asking about the work, and again, like what skills are involved, and yeah, doing a bit of research and maybe experimenting, and then that'll take you in a certain direction. So I think that's perfect. And can I ask you, why did you choose this line of work?
I think it chose me. I mean, I really like problem solving. I like that, like thinking about, okay, this is where we are now, how we can get out of it, what can we do, how we can improve this thing. And I like that it's diverse. I like that it's like everything is different, every time is different, every project is different. And I think that as an interior designer, I got some of it, but it was mostly bound to spatial solutions, and that didn't tick with me as much as in like now, as I said before, yeah, predominantly we do digital solutions and digital based solutions, but it's not it. It's not just that. It's digital is just a tool, a platforms that we are using for majority of our services and products, but it's not just that. And it just a whole world of things and possibilities, and it just makes me excited every time I join a new team, and it makes me grow, it makes me evolve as a human being, and I really like that. And I think that all of that combination, I just found myself, and I think that I am extremely lucky, because I know how hard it is, like at least in our services, how you basically at 18 you have to choose what you're going to be for the rest of your life. And I found myself just being extremely lucky to have a journey that was quite like naturally led into direction of where I am now and finding my spot.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. And I like a positive career story. And how much impact has your master's degree in digital experience design from Hyper Island had on your career so far?
Um, a lot. Yeah, definitely. I feel like when I applied for Hyper, I didn't really know what I will. I knew that I needed a change, and I went and visited Hyper, and it was just this amazing environment that was different, but also it felt like I found my people. And at that point of my life, I knew that I didn't want to be where I am, and I needed a change. And I think that Hyper was just a perfect opportunity there for me. And I was lucky enough that my friend already went to Hyper. So I got to visit them and learn about Hyper, and that really sparked me. And I applied for Hyper. Didn't tell my parents until I got in, and the rest is the history. But yeah, it just made me understand how much of my skills and tools that I use as an interior designer I can translate. And I was a bit timid of like, can I do this? Is this really like do I have enough knowledge to do this? And it kind of opened up. But also it was a space when you really let go of kind of a fear of being perfect, or fear of like not doing everything and just doing it and go with the process. And it's quite fast paced, and you learn to be okay with that. You learn to be okay that at the end of the day you have not have everything ready for the client report, because it's okay, because whatever you have is good enough. So it just made me feel comfortable. I learned how to be comfortable in uncomfortable places and stages. And I can definitely see that now when, like, for example, we are in ideation and we ran into a wall and it's not going along, or something is just like not right just yet. I'm able to say, yeah, that's fine, cool, that is absolutely fine, we are where we are, I trust the team, I trust the process, we're gonna go through this. And it always works.
Mhm.
So it's just, it gave me that freedom of letting myself go of like, oh, we need to do this, oh, this is not good, this is not perfect, or oh, we're not just there yet. Like, and just in having that freedom, I can think about the tools, or I can think about things that we can do, or I can get myself out of that thinking faster. And I think this is really important in our work, because it is fast paced. Majority of our work is quite fast paced, or there's a certain expectation that we can do our work really fast. Which I would say no, we need our time, give us our time. But it is like with sprints and everything, that thinking is, I think, is there, and that kind of puts a lot of pressure on us of like being able to ideate, being able to deliver, being able to prototype really fast. And when it doesn't go every time, you don't have all the amazing ideas, and you do have to have a lot of, not bad, I don't ideas, you have to have a lot of ideas to get to the one that actually gets evolved. And even if it is idea that everyone likes, it might not fit with the budget, it might not fit with the timing, so the scoping part might constrain that idea, and you need to be learn to be okay with that. And also like learn that at the end of the day, majority of a project, it's always an improvement of an existing situation. And sometimes can be really small changes, but it's still an improvement. And I think that I learned through Hyper to be more comfortable with that, to be comfortable if that I don't see only the big steps that make a change. I can see the small steps that make the ripple effect and that create that bigger, better change in the world. So definitely really grateful to be able to go through Hyper. And I would definitely recommend it for people if they're thinking into get into the design world and get more comfortable with being uncomfortable.
And do you think it has directly helped you to get into a job that you really love?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because I think that I always said that like paper is almost like a work extension of Hyper, because we like kind of use kind of a lot of similar tools, or like we have similar approaches. But it's also like I think that the paper always allow us to be who we are and embrace that and put that into as a part of our culture and who we are as a team. And I definitely think that like, yeah, Hyper helped me got my job, and also like embrace elements of that I learned from Hyper through my job. And it's just nice to know that like I could do that and I can do that.
And you mentioned that sometimes people's expectations are that they want things being done really fast, really quickly. So for people who are maybe worried about that, how do you normally handle those sorts of situations and expectations?
You learn to say no, and I'm still learning because I'm not good at that. um I think it's important not just for our work. I think that I like expectation of overworking or working so much that it's consuming your life. It's not healthy, and I, and also it's ableistic, because there's people who cannot do that, and no one should be doing that. And I think it's planning, showcasing. So what I do is I have a weekly or like bi-weekly plan when I tell in each day everything that we have to do in that day, to showcase how much time we need and what exactly are we doing. We also use Trello to showcase that, and also telling people no.
Hmm.
If we have a set of plan, they come with more stuff, we can, yeah, this, some of it can go into backlog, but this is a priority. Or if that is not priority, let us know what can be deprioritized so that we can fit this
Hmm.
in. And it's a learning curve, but I think that it's important not just for designer but anyone who's working, to stop glorifying that culture of fast-paced work and doing so much work that you don't have any, not your sleep or your personal life. That is not good. If you're doing that, you're not doing a good job. You're just not. And yeah, for us personally, is like showcasing what we have to do. How much time does it take? Invite people to join us. When I do user research, I always invite people, our stakeholders, to observe our sessions. But if they're observing, that means that they're making notes and they're doing debriefs, and they learn some part of how time consuming it is to make notes. It's not just easy. You're not just listening and writing down what you think you heard. You go back into videos and you make sure that it's exactly what users have said that you have written in your notes.
Yeah.
So kind of inviting them to learn and inviting them to participate in some of your work, and also showcasing how much work you have in what particular day, and pushing back, saying no. No, I need more time. No, this is not good enough. But it is learning. I'm definitely still learning, because I'm used to doing certain things quite fast. I need to check to myself, wait, this is good for you, but let's check with your coworkers if that is okay with them as well. So you're just not rushing them into anything. And it's also that checking with people, check how they are, check if they feel comfortable with the workload that they have, and how you can help support them. It's definitely one that I'm still learning and working on, but it's important one. And I think it's not just important as in our industry, I think it's important as the mentality of work needs to change in general.
Absolutely. And what's it like working for paper, particularly in terms of support and career development? I'm sensing you're going to say good things.
Oh no. Yes, yeah, I always say that paper is the best mistake I ever did, and it's a mistake because I live in Manchester, and I thought that when I applied for working at paper, I thought that they're in Stockport, and I didn't know that they're actually in Sheffield until I had to book my tickets to get to the office. And even then, they were so concerned about my traveling. They were, "Are you gonna be okay with the traveling?" I was like, "Yeah, hold on, it's half, not, it's like 15 minutes. Why would be the concern?" Well, now I know why the concern was. And even now, like because I live in Manchester, that means that if I work on a project in Sheffield, I work 3 days in Sheffield and 2 days from home. That was before the lockdown and the pandemic, and hopefully soon. So yeah, and we also have on Fridays we don't work on project. So on Fridays, it's almost like a paper day when the whole team is back together, and we do things like mentoring. I have my mentoring with Mark when I'm learning about service design, and it's really amazing. And it just makes me see service design in such a different light. And it's just so nice that we also include other companies and learn through them about how they approach things, and we collaborate. We do almost like peer-to-peer mentoring with other companies. We also have a budget when we can do each individual can do a course, or like not just a course, but they can choose whatever. If they want to do something to further the development, they can go and do it. And we do R&D projects, so there's a lot of things that you can pick, but they are definitely like one of the papers thing is to like be able to develop as a person, because if we develop as a person, individuals, we are developing as a team. So it's important one, and we do definitely make sure that we each individually have these moments and have these learnings and know what we want to do, what you want to do when you grow up, and build towards those, and how paper can support that growth and development that you want and you want to see in yourself. So yeah, again, yeah, you were right.
I bet you can't wait to meet up in person again.
Oh God, yes. Oh my God, I feel like I'm gonna be like a puppy, you know, and you just want to say hi to everyone and just want to talk, like wiggling your tail. Like yeah, definitely. I am absolutely over the moon excited to be able to see all of them again.
And finally, and you've touched on this a little bit already, for people who are hearing about this type of work for the first time, which direction would you point them in to find out more, or to apply their skills in a relevant environment?
Hmm. Um, so first of all, if you're interested, I would say try it out. I learned through trying. So going to like things like a service design jam, or like any like courses, like even quick courses, so you can just try it out and see if that is ticking. But and as well, like I think that applying them in your current job might be a good indication to see if um you are you want to do that more, because you can be creative in every different kind of jobs. And it's like, okay, if you have a problem, maybe write down how you would do it, map it out, where do you see the solution. So start using the tools. Maybe get a book like this, that is quite helpful, and see some of the design thinking playbook. It's my Bible basically. Just what sort of tools are in there, and try to use some of them. And you can use that in baking, you can use that at your work. Like how do you bake differently? Set yourself a challenge, do stuff differently. And it's those small moments that make you realize if that is something you're passionate about, that is something you want to do. And then build out from that. Is it maybe going back to university, or maybe you think that you can do some internships that are available, talk to people. Because the beauty of design is like what makes us that great is that we have people of all these different backgrounds coming into the design, and we need more of that, because that diverse thinking is what makes the team work better, and the quality of the services and the products is better, because the way you think is special. And how can you apply that into solving problems is what design needs, because we don't want just everyone thinking the same way. And I absolutely love that when I work with people who are completely thinking completely differently than I do, because combination of both of our thinking is what helps our clients and helps our product and services being amazing and being good for our clients. And yeah, think how you can solve problems, enjoy the process, see if you like doing this. And if you do, talk to people, and see what is the best way to go into it. And it might be going back to university, or might be doing some courses, or it might be doing through internships. As I said, the government is really keen to get more designers into their work, which is amazing. And working on quite a few government projects, and know that they have internships. So that can be a way of getting in. And then going through that internship, you basically learn on the job about service design and user research. And that might be the way in. It's like, it's never just one way, it's multiple ways. Talking to people definitely help. Being creative, even if it starts with just drawing daily, or doodling, or like mapping what you're thinking, that can be a start. It's small things. Don't think about the biggest thing. Think about the smallest thing you can do first, because that will get you far. Thinking about the big things will just get you scared because
Yeah.
they're unachievable at the moment.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's fantastic advice. Thank you very much. That was a really interesting interview, and I'm going to start looking into it more myself.